So does masturbation cause hair loss or male pattern baldness? The answer is not so simple, and I don't have any conclusive evidence which suggests that masturbation causes hair loss or not. So I tried to gather as much as evidence as possible to connect the dots. And I'm going to present my research, and then based on that, you should be able to take your own informed decision whether you want to masturbate or not and how frequently you should masturbate. Now, when they measured the levels of different hormones after the masturbation, they found out that there were most marked changes in the hormonal levels of pregnenolone, DHA, and cortisol, and the levels of testosterone were significantly related to those of DHT. And as contrary to popular belief, the increased serum concentration of DHT has no correlation with androgenic alopecia or male pattern baldness. The hair loss or the male pattern baldness is caused by tissue DHT, not by serum DHT. And DHT is one of the underlying reasons for occurrence of male pattern baldness. Now, there are several other reasons, but tissue DHT is one of them. Now let's understand what happens after the masturbation. So when we ejaculate after masturbation, the dopamine level decreases and the prolactin level rises. Now elevated prolactin can suppress the thyroid function, and as you know, thyroid hormone is closely connected with hair loss and hair thinning. Those who are balding, especially the balding men, have slightly elevated levels of serum prolactin, and hair growth is inhibited because of high levels of prolactin. So when we experience orgasm, whether it is after the masturbation or after having sexual intercourse, prolactin increases, and prolactin increase following intercourse, sexual intercourse, is 400 times greater than following the masturbation. So those who indulge into sexual intercourse release 4 times more prolactin than those who indulge into mere masturbation. So why those people who indulge into sexual intercourse do not start losing their hair? So let's try to find other missing pieces of this puzzle. First, let's understand what is contained inside semen. The semen contains spermidine, which upon administration increase hair shaft elongation and prolonged anagen phase. Spermidine differentially modulates the gene expression profile of human hair follicles, and based on the external factors, it can either upregulate or downregulate the gene expression. Now, upregulation means that doing more of what it is supposed to do, and downregulation means doing less of what it is supposed to do. So what does semen contain? The semen contains calcium, chloride, citrate, fructose, glucose, lactic acid, magnesium, potassium, protein, sodium, urea, zinc. So when you ejaculate, you actually lose part of these minerals. But in all the studies they didn't find any correlation between tissue DHT level and masturbation. But one significant connection you can probably make is spermidine hair loss connection. And you can also make the connection of various nutrient loss while ejaculating. But that also happens when we indulge into sexual intercourse. So what is so different in the case of masturbation? Masturbation is often associated with watching porn, reading erotic material, or watching and looking at erotic images. It has often more to do with porn addiction, which also involves fantasizing about sex and sexual partners. Real sexual intercourse doesn't involve any of this. Now, porn also leads to poor decision making. It also interferes with our working memory. And these are the possible disruptions because of addiction. So when you indulge into masturbation, it causes a lot of bad things, including you tend to sleep late because you watch porn. You have less focus because your attention is diverted more towards watching or reading the erotic material. You tend to have less inclination towards social interaction because you think that if porn is going to help you to relieve your stress, you probably don't need any social interaction. You also lose interest in exercising. You don't have enough energy to exercise if you indulge into it excessively. You also tend to make poor food choices, as we discussed that porn also affects our decision making process, and it also causes overall unhappiness or depression, which combines, and it can result or it can aggravate the existing hair loss. And quitting porn and masturbation can be a keystone habit, the one habit that unlocks a series of changes and shifts. So if you quit or reduce the porn, masturbation and orgasm for a while, that period can vary from 1 month to 1 year, it creates a ripple effects in your life. Better quality of sleep, more energy, more focus, more inclination to socialize, more happiness and better life choices leading to healthy life. So what is the takeaway? Masturbation is not a direct cause of hair loss, although it can aggravate the existing hair loss because of what happens when you indulge into excessive masturbation or porn usage. Hair loss is the result of cascading effect of this porn addiction and the impact it can have on your diet and lifestyle. So the takeaway is masturbate less often and only masturbate when you are really sexually aroused, not by watching not watching porn or reading erotic material. If you have porn addiction, don't indulge into masturbation until your brain gets rewired. Now that can take a considerable amount of time depending upon the time you have the porn addiction. Only do masturbation when it feels natural, when you have the same level of energy, focus, inclination to socialize and all sorts of good things despite indulging into masturbation, then in my opinion I consider that as a healthy masturbation, which is done without using any graphic image, video or reading any erotic material.